Welcome to the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 30 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week. All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. I'm here with the one and only Jenny Mack, and she's going to be talking to us today about the culture shift to micro weddings. But before we do, Jenny, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got you here today?
Absolutely. Hello, Kevin. Thank you so
Hello.
much for having me. So happy to be here and talking about elopements and micro weddings. I run a company called Eloping is Fun in New York City. We've been around for about 15 years. So we've been on the kind of forefront of elopement culture and now kind of exploring the micro wedding territory, which I'm very excited about. And I really love, especially from the kind of vendor perspective of, collaborating and working with people within the wedding industry to kind of create a new format for what weddings look like. So that's me. Eloping is Fun. We work in New York City. We're doing a pop-up in Mexico City right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's going really wonderfully. It's really fun. And and then personally, I've also done elopements in Iceland, but so kind of elopement fairy godmother, kind of like all over the place. Yeah.
My in-laws just got back from Iceland and absolutely loved it.
Everyone loves Iceland.
Yeah, it was really great. They said it was really, they would go again. So
and people do go again.
Yeah, crazy.
And again.
All right, so Jenny, you've planned thousands of elopements, micro weddings. What first drew you to this niche, and how did Eloping is Fun come to life?
Cool. So I am a photographer.
Oh, okay.
I am a photographer. So I started doing weddings as a photographer. And this was a little more than 15 years ago. And as I was doing kind of weddings in Brooklyn, people did start to reach out to me who were eloping. And I was like, yes. It was like a full body yes. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Okay. So I started doing elopements. I did start doing elopements at City Hall because, that's where elopements were. That's kind of what it was. And I did a few of those, quite a few, probably too many.
Okay.
And I realized this is not where it's at. City Hall, not it.
Okay.
It just, I believe in weddings. I believe in like the power, the energy, like what they represent. So City Hall does not do that. I'm kind of for the like, okay, we'll do City Hall and then we'll do like our other wedding thing. Fine. But so I decided to, take elopements outside of City Hall, which means we needed an officiant. So I'm friends with a lot of cool, interesting, creative people here in Brooklyn. So it's pretty easy to get your license. So a couple of us got their officiant licenses and we decided to band together photography and officiant. That's kind of how Eloping is Fun was born. So we've been doing that for a really long time.
I love it. Yeah. All right. So, micro weddings and elopements have exploded in popularity. Obviously, you know that. So is there a culture or generational forces that you think are driving this shift other than COVID?
Other than COVID, I know. Are we ever going to get over COVID? Probably not.
Probably not.
It's changed the course of a lot of things. And it definitely was like a wild ride, COVID, while it was happening in the wedding industry. But I do think that COVID gave people the permission to opt out of the wedding. Like it was just a full on, permission slip to be like, I'm not doing this. I don't have to explain this. So that brought a huge level of acceptance overall. I have seen the shift to, elopements and micro weddings on both sides. I think there's still a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions about it from people in and inside and outside of the industry. So one of them is like, elopements, or, we're kind of opting out, we're doing our own thing, we don't care what our parents say. Well, guess what? I meet a lot of parents who want their
Oh.
kids to elope, okay? Who
Oh.
want their kids to elope. I've
Mhm.
met parents at the airport who just randomly chatting about what I do and are like, "My kids are doing a big wedding. I don't know if I can handle this," you know? So I've definitely seen just like the acceptance and the understanding of elopements, small weddings, micro weddings, um, on just like a very big level on both sides,
Mhm.
which I think is super interesting, which I do like to kind of point out that even the parents want to opt out of the big wedding
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes.
Well, and I remember when I was getting married is a while ago, but I told my wife, I'm like, "We're either gonna do it big or we're gonna do it and go and do a small wedding." Like I don't
Yeah.
there's either because I have on my mom's side of the family, my grandmother had 10 brothers and sisters, and my grandfather had 11 brothers and sisters. So I have like cousins beyond cousins on my mom's side of the
Yeah.
family. And so it's you either invite one or you invite none, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I was really at that time, this is a long time ago, but I was
Yeah.
attracted to like let's go and do something small and so
Yeah.
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 But
Absolutely.
yeah. So do you see this as a trend or is it here to stay like part of the wedding future?
Yes. I don't think this is a trend at all. I think that this is a shift. I think that
Oh.
this is a big, big, big shift. I don't think that elopements are going away. I think elopements are just going to keep like unfolding and meaning new things to new people. I have an article on the website, a titillating history of eloping, because it is kind of cool, like when you've been doing this long enough, like where did this word come from, where did it start, what is this, like what have the trends been. I mean, we're
Oh.
only here for such this short period and we think we know everything, but this has been around for a while. Elopement started in can't remember, they started many hundreds of years ago,
I love that.
as a retaliation to they started in the UK.
Mm.
So they started in a place called Gretna Green, which was like this town in Scotland, like right over the border from the UK, because just the pressure around weddings in the UK was too much. So people were running away from that. So
Oh.
I think at its core, elopements have always been something that's a reaction to like pressure and constraints, but I think that the cat is out of the bag and they're developing a life of their own. And I think it's just a really important thing to really focus on, and don't ever call it a trend, because it's not. It's
Yeah.
totally not a trend.
Well, and it's funny to me too. There's a few people I know that are in the wedding industry here in my local market that
Yeah.
have decided we're going to just go off and elope because
Yeah.
the pressure of having a wedding. We do this. This is our job. This is what we
Yeah.
do. We're going to go and just enjoy,
Yeah.
with a small, like 20,
Yes.
30 amount of people and then just enjoy. And then maybe we'll have a party. Maybe we won't,
Yeah.
and it's not a big deal like down the road.
And
So,
have a party whenever. You don't There's no timeline for the party. I'm all about make your own rules too.
yeah. Oh,
I'm
I
all
love that.
I'm really I will find them for you before the end of our
Okay.
call, and show them to you. So my business cards are these matchbooks. So these cute, like, vintage designed matchbooks, and they're like
Okay.
old school, like vintage flash tattoo. And one of my big taglines is "Your wedding, your rules." So the
Yeah.
back of the matchbook says that. And I really just always try to encourage people, like, make up your own rules. Like, don't feel pressure. Like, where are those voices in your head coming from? Like, are they yours or someone else's, and
Yeah.
just do what makes sense to you. Everyone is so open-minded right now. It's a great time to just be exploring different ways of like doing this thing, and
Yeah.
just to be clear, I love weddings. I am a huge believer in weddings and celebrations. I am not about people opting out. I am about people doing it kind of like their way with their unique take, and not
Mhm.
feeling like they have to follow some pre-prescribed formula that wasn't made by them,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and so you're in New York, I'm in California, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're a little bit more progressive, as
Mhm.
when it comes to the West Coast, East Coast. But
Yeah.
right now, in just in my area in California, there's a huge shift, and the weddings are very non-traditional.
Yeah.
So I wonder, does that help elopements, or is that help drive, where
Yeah.
people are like, hey, I don't have to do all the things, maybe I don't have to have the big party, let me do it do it my way. Do you think that's a part of it right now?
Yeah, and it's funny. I think that we just did an article too because like I said, I think a lot about this. Like I'm at the time in my
Hmm.
life where like I just think a lot about, the wedding industry and all of this. So that's why I like talking about it. Um I like traditions.
Hmm.
I actually really like to embrace traditions. I think that the reason, some people might be choosing to get married and really be, you know, reactive against traditions. That's fine. That's one choice. That's one path. And I don't necessarily think elopements are a reaction against tradition. I think we in, our work at Eloping is Fun. We do work with a lot of couples who really want to hold those traditions. They
Hmm.
just can't see themselves getting married for a myriad of reasons,
Hmm.
financial, family. They don't want everyone looking at them. I like agree
No,
with all of
yeah, it's funny, the looking people that are very
yeah,
shy, yeah, they're always like,
a lot of
"What do
people.
we have to do? What can we do to make people not look at me?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a little hard because 'cause you're in this big white dress," So it's kinda,
Yeah.
yeah, I go, "It's like a neon sign that you
Yeah.
can't run away from." So
Yeah.
there's,
It's a bit
but
it's
yeah, a
one of
lot
the
of the,
big reasons. It's one of the
yeah,
big reasons for people. They just don't
and it
wanna
makes
feel that
sense.
pressure. The
Did
the performative aspect, especially younger people, like Gen Z is getting married. We do
Yeah,
Gen Z weddings, and I love them. They're my favorite. I'm Gen X. I love Gen Z. I feel like Gen X and Gen Z have, like, this perfect little relationship personally.
yeah, yeah.
And I relate to them and understand them. I mean, they're definitely big rule breakers. I feel like Gen X was too. And they're getting married, and I would say more on that side there more than anything, the people who are like, we just do not want a performance. We don't want to do this for other people. We don't, because maybe it's like they grew up in their life like with social media, like everything is a performance. So this is
Mhm.
something that's like very personal and very meaningful, and they want it for themselves. And like I understand that, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, the whole tradition thing, it's like a good question and it's interesting. And I get people who just, if that's where they're at, they're like, tradition, oh my God, I don't want any of that. That's not necessarily where I'm at and where we're at. Like, I actually think cultural traditions are really interesting. There's a lot of
Mhm.
history there. I think it's just, you just get to connect with the history of like who you are and your family in these different ways. So I tell people don't throw out the tradition, like,
Yeah, I do too, but it's funny because they're picking and choosing right now of
yeah,
what they wanna
of
do,
course.
and then they're stealing traditions from other cultures and other
Oh, well,
religions.
that's a fun
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, and I always like, yeah, that could be a whole nother time. I mean, and part of
That's,
it, I think, like, you where you are, you're a melting pot. Me in the Bay Area with all the
yeah,
tech companies and everything,
yeah.
there's so many, like, I just did an Indian Mexican wedding, and so it's
Oh,
just,
I've done an
you
Indian amazing wedding.
you know
So
what I'm
much
saying?
fun.
So it's just like such a mix of culture, such a
Yeah.
mix of tradition, such a mix of everything. So, and people are coming to these type of weddings in my market. So they're like, "Oh, my friend did this and my friend did that. I want to do that too," kind of, so it's just kind of funny how they are now stealing from other cultures, other religions.
I
Just,
mean, yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely a whole other thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, then
I
people you
agree.
just need to be like self-aware of these things, especially when it comes to other cultures and traditions. I think it's something that, you know what I mean? You should think very deeply about
I
it.
agree. I agree. I agree.
So yeah.
It's very interesting. All right. So, how has the idea of value changed for couples choosing
Yeah.
smaller weddings and
Yeah.
investing differently?
Yeah, because again, elopements, another thing that would kind of be offensive in the eloping space is being like, it's cheap, it's not a real wedding, and do not come around here with that. It's not about that. It's true. The value, it's people are valuing different things. People are not going cheap on their elopement. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we cater to a broad range of people. Do you know what I mean? We have simple packages that are just for people who are like, I want to come, I want it to be amazing. I just, the officiant. And we have packages that are definitely high up on the luxury range, and we do the full micro wedding planning. Oh my God, I have a wedding in 2 weeks that where's the dinner? The dinner is at one of Daniel, Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
the Daniel, like the chef guy is just known by his name, at like one of his little private rooms in the restaurants. I
Oh,
mean, it's
wow.
12 people, and this wedding is for 12 people, I don't know, it's $30,000,
Yeah.
So they value 5-star, they value Michelin stars, and
Yeah.
that's what they get to spend their money on, and that's what they wanted. So I think it's just a matter of where you're placing that value.
Mm.
A lot of elopement also means traveling destination, New York, San Francisco, I'm sure too. There's a great elopement photographer who I love in San Francisco, Rachel Levine. And we're
Mm.
like buddies. We're like Instagram buddies. We're always like elopements, elopements, because we just know it's so much fun. So yeah, I mean, a lot of our clients are from the UK. They come to New York.
Oh,
They stay in that 5-star hotel, even if that's not their normal way of doing things. And yeah, they splurge and they have a good time. So it's just really where you want to spend your money, and that feels really good to people.
yeah. Well, it's funny you said the 12 people. It's also how do you want to spend your time? Because,
Yeah,
you have these big weddings. You don't get to enjoy your guests. But,
yeah,
when you have an elopement or a small micro wedding, you can enjoy
yeah.
and your time with these guests.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just like be with them, like actually with them and just enjoy. Like, these are the people I actually want here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. So other businesses are out there is like, how can I get involved in this?
Yeah.
So what type of vendors do you collaborate with the most when it comes
Yeah.
to elopements?
I mean, that's a really good. I really was excited about this question
Yeah.
because I think it's really important. I think that vendors in the wedding industry have to break a little bit outside of their wedding molds, like maybe you've been burned or whatever, and you're just like, really kind of have a certain way of doing things, because you're used to kind of catering to a different kind of event.
Yeah.
These are different. Like the elopements and micro weddings in general are just a lot more easygoing and low key. And I think people want to work with vendors who like understand that and can
Mm.
work with you in that way. They're not so much pressure. They're not, you know what I mean? I do feel like there's this thing in the wedding industry where there's all this pressure, like the, say yes to the dress. Like you got to put your credit card down for that fitting. And you're
Yeah.
in this room with all these people who are like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
that is a nightmare to me,
Yeah. That's a lot of
Um,
pressure.
it's a lot of pressure. People don't want to feel that pressure. So if you can kind of be more kind of down to earth and just offer a little more flexibility, I mean, like keep your terms the way they're supposed to be, but I think people respond to that and really relate to that very well. Florals, like, there's a lot of florists who are like, I have my minimum, I'm not even going to touch anything. But you know what? Like, in New York, like we have some great florists that we work with, like small studios, that do on the weekends, they have their whatever $10,000 minimum, but during the week they do amazing bouquets for us and whatever else we want and need, and they're great. And that's who we go to. That's who's in our little black book,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that's
And
what we like.
it's funny. You just said on the weekends, they're 10K, but during the week. So do you find most of these are during the week?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we like to do things during the week. It suits like our model more.
Hmm.
People already know that. There's wedding photography, as I mean, I'm sure you deal with this in San Francisco, like in New York, on a weekend in, Dumbo, which is like this amazing neighborhood where a lot of people go for their wedding photos. Like you'll run into like 5, 6 other people doing their wedding photos. So it's kind of cool to be like, hey, it's a random Wednesday and like I'm the queen of the world right now,
Yeah.
in New York. I'm the only one getting. So we do things like our packages are also kind of structured that way. Like our smallest package, it's like called the straightforward I do. It's just an hour and a half of photography, and the officiant and the planning is Monday through Thursday. And then our 3 hour package is Monday through Friday. And our weekend minimums are the 5 and 7 hours,
Yeah.
just because also like we're a studio, there's 5 photographers, 5 officiants. Some of our officiants are also wedding DJs and other stuff. So, we do even have that like kind of weekend minimum kind of thing
Yeah. No,
too,
you got to.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
All right. So, I'm a business wanting to get into this,
Yeah.
like, so from a marketing perspective, how do I communicate with couples who are like non-traditional or maybe turned off by it, like big wedding sales language? Is there something different that I need to do, like a separate website, social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just like a really individual. I think like how people run their businesses is like I think it's a very individual thing. Like I had, when I started, I had a company called Stylish and Hip Weddings. That was my wedding photography company, which is now retired. I retired 2 years ago. I'm like, sorry guys, no more big weddings. I am officially gone to the other side, right? So I kept the brands separate.
Hmm.
I think that people do want to know real quickly, like you can serve them exactly where they're at. So I think that having branding and marketing that's like really specific towards elopements is going to be very important,
Mm,
and not just like, oh, I'm this like, you know, cool whatever, like, yeah, okay, I do elopements also, people people want to know you're serving them and you care about them. So I think that like people whose marketing reflects that will have more of a leg up.
yeah. And I'm sure that bleeds over to the social media side too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what advice would you give vendors who want to attract more micro weddings and elopements, but aren't sure how to adjust their like brand voice?
Like I said, you have to change your model a little bit too. Like you have to
Hmm.
do a model that you have to test it out and find a model that works for people eloping, like in your market and where you are, and really kind of have like a separate little, studio or thing for that. That's really like my best advice. I think people are looking for elopement vendors.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, maybe there's some, I mean, I'm sure there's some people who are, just have been following. I mean, I'll mostly be speaking from the standpoint of a photographer. Just that's like one of the biggest parts of, when it comes to an elopement, a photographer is like top of the food chain.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like,
I
yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, I'm sure that people could have been following some photographers that they really like, and they'll have to start that conversation with them and, to make sure it works for an elopement. But there are a lot of people out there in the elopement side of things. So I think that, you need to like kind of pay attention to that if you want to bridge over into that world.
Yeah, and I would imagine you got to do your research and take your time to really understand it. I'm sure
Yeah.
your market is going to dictate some of this as well, where you
Yeah.
are, geographically as well,
Yeah.
because some areas, if you're like a good travel destination, like you were saying, Mexico City or so
Yeah.
any of these places that people want to travel to, Hawaii or you name it,
Yeah.
that you're going to be able to really cater to that
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
Hawaii's got a big industry. I mean, Hawaii is like one of the originals,
Hmm.
places to elope. Hawaii, New Orleans,
Oh
there's
yeah,
yeah, New Orleans, super cool. It's amazing. I know there's another company that I'm friends with in Arizona, the Arizona Elopement Collective. I think what they're doing is really cool. Like they're doing really high end, like really crazy, getting up at like 6 a.m. and like taking a four
oh
by four to some crazy cliff. And I
yeah,
just think that's great. I mean, and people know exactly what they're getting. Like, this is what we're getting. And they have their way of doing things. They're like,
yeah,
this is like an 8 hour thing that we're doing.
yeah.
This is not just like show up here for a couple hours and we're done.
Yeah,
So
no, it's sounds like it's an experience.
it's an experience,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of those, like, adventure elopements. I mean, we decided for eloping is fun that, like, I'm from New York City. Um, I I'm just a city girl. I love city experiences, and we decided that we're just sticking to the cities. We're not really, I mean, aside from, I know I I've worked in Iceland a lot. That was kind of
Yeah.
like a totally separate brand, a totally separate and a totally separate story. Just I've been traveling there for like most of my life. My best friend lives there. So I was there all the time. And I'm like, I just was so inspired as an individual to kind of like make art there and do that. So I was I mean, I've been doing that for such a long time. That's kind of slowing down a little bit too. But you know, I'm really focused on like cities and doing elopements there, but there are a
Yeah.
lot of people doing cool stuff in, Colorado, California, so much
Yeah.
cool stuff.
I
A
can see
lot of
Colorado.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Colorado. Yeah, I can for sure see that.
There's like
So
a whole subculture of like people who like just do these like Colorado elopements. It's
yeah.
huge. Yeah.
I will say I was the WIPA national president for a while, and New York City was my favorite chapter to visit. I just
Um,
fell in love with good old New York. It would just I was
yeah.
just I don't know why I never really traveled there until about 8 years ago was the first
Oh,
time I
okay.
ever went, and now it's like anytime I was like, let's go to New York, let's go to
Yeah.
New York.
New York, there's so much here. There's like so much
Yes,
you can explore and do
yeah.
here. I love New
And
York
all
too.
the
Thank
bad
you.
stories that New York has, I always said, no, take it, throw it out the side. New York is so much cleaner, nicer, friendlier than San Francisco. I go,
But yeah,
San Francisco is a dump. I always tell everyone. So bad.
San Francisco is going through it right now.
Oh, it's bad. We do everything. I am about 45 minutes east of the city, but we do
Yeah.
everything in our power to not go to the city.
Yeah.
It's not.
Just sucks. It's really hard to like keep a city in balance. Do you
Yeah.
know
Oh,
what
I
I mean?
agree.
Like
Yeah.
keep
100%.
It's really hard. New York always finds its way back to like balance. So we just
Yeah.
find a way to like live in this total chaos. And it's like nuts. I live in Brooklyn. My kids go to school in the Lower East Side. Like we're back and forth on the train every day. My 12-year-old's taking the train by herself. Like, it's I consider New York City safe,
Yeah.
much
No,
safer
I
than when
agree
I
with
was
you.
growing up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's safe,
No,
you
I
know?
agree with you. I agree with you. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get back. So we digress
Yeah.
about our love for New York. What innovations or shifts do you predict for micro weddings? And like let's look out like 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something I'm really excited about are spaces, small chapels, I mean, I use that
Yeah.
word loosely, okay? For micro weddings. There's one outside of Boston called Dearly Studio that I'm like obsessed with, and I'm like, please, can we do this in New York? I think it'd be nice to kind of like make it even more of like just a permanent feature. I mean, like, yes, Las Vegas has their chapels, but let's be honest, like Las Vegas is what it is. Like we
Yeah.
want something different from Las Vegas.
Well, but I feel like if you're going to Vegas, you're going for cheese. You're going there, and it's going to be
Yeah.
cheesy, and that's what it is. And
Yeah.
but like where you're talking is let's do it classy.
Yeah. Let's have a space
Hmm.
for people eloping. Let's have a little chapel. Let's have like a little space that's like you can kind of build it out and make it your own, but is totally catered towards that. So I think that for the people who want to take that on, God bless you. I think that would be an amazing thing.
Hmm.
There are a few people doing stuff in New York, like a few little kind of multi-use spaces and spaces that we collaborate with. And of course, I've thought of it, but like having a physical space and it's not for me, like I
Hmm.
like kind of creating things. I just work in a different way,
Hmm.
with our couples. So, I think that would be really cool. Also, like collective. So, how Mexico City came together. Mexico City is my other kind of like heart place that I've been traveling most of my life. One of my best friends lives there, so I have spent a lot of time there, and the energy of Mexico City is just like it's awesome to me. It's
Hmm.
just it's so creative, it's so vibrant, it's so awesome. Like New York is too, but New York is also like a very hard place to live. Everyone knows that. People are like, how much rent you pay in New York? I'm like, I
Yeah.
know, like luckily I own my house, but still, it can be a hard place. So I like places where there's an opportunity for people and creativity because I feel like that's a perfect marriage. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Creative people. The wedding industry is made of creative entrepreneurs, go get. I mean that's what we are, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that's where, kind of innovations in wedding landscape kind of happen is like from those people and in those places. So anyway, so the Mexico City thing it's a collective. So everyone is based in Mexico City. That was super important to me again, because a lot of people, travel somewhere to get married. I think that where you travel to, it should be a very authentic experience of where
Hmm.
you are with the people. Like, I get it if you want to bring your photographer, but I think it's a much better experience if you're working with local people. So yeah, the way the Mexico City thing came together was like a collective, and people were so happy to work together and just
Hmm.
kind of create this little. So those packages are even more full service. Like those include like floral installations. We even have like a kind of locations partner. I'm not
Hmm.
super into Airbnb. No offense, San Francisco. Airbnb is a little kind of like I don't want to like talk bad about them, but they've kind of messed up a few places. But we have a partner in Mexico City called Casita MX that works with kind of unique properties, and they're also local, so we work with them for the like event spaces, and it's been really fun. It's been
Hmm.
amazing to watch how everyone's just kind of learned from each other and like started to kind of create this new thing in Mexico City. So I think that's another thing. It's just more collaboration too.
Yeah, I love that, and I bet
Yeah.
you people in other cities that are like that can really come together and create a good space.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe even build a chapel for you.
Build a chapel. Call it a chapel. Whatever. Who cares?
Go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, as we're wrapping up, what's the one thing you wish every wedding pro understood about elopement and micro wedding for couples?
Oh my God. That I wish they understood is.
Because I feel like it's kind of negative for some people. You
See,
know
it's
that.
so funny. Everyone you talk to, you can go to a room with 10 people, everyone's going to have completely different opinion. Like,
Hmm.
for some reason, like, just depending on like where you're coming from, where you are. Um, I, I don't know. So I guess speaking from that standpoint, if people think it's like a negative thing, I just think there's just like a lot of opportunity. And I always say, like, the best thing you can do as like a a pro, professional in your field is to like listen to people. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like
Yeah, no.
listen. Like, honestly, things are changing so much, and I've always thought that was super exciting. Like, I have kind of developed, eloping is fun has grown so much, and like grown into something I could have never known like 10, 15 years ago, especially because of the micro weddings. And I'm
Hmm.
really into that. Like, I love the idea of producing an event from like start to finish, that's just really like for this person and like really not stressful. My biggest enemy in the world is stress and wedding stress. Like, that's
Mm.
why I'm here. Like, that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing. It's just not what I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah,
We're just trying to remove the stress. We realize that kind of doing things all inclusive in packaging, removes a lot of stress, but
yeah,
also giving people the freedom to kind of make it how they want. Like, I'm also not into cookie cutter stuff at all. That's the other thing I don't like in the wedding
yeah.
industry, because it's like venues are very cookie cutter. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And this is what time you're doing this. And it's like, what fun is that? Like, yeah, it's
No.
more work to kind of create it from the beginning, like to create it from the ground up. But you know what? Like, if you're creative and you're working with good people, it's totally possible. So I would say, the first thing, don't think of it as a negative. Like, think of it, I think people in the wedding industry need to constantly be open to things changing. If you're not, then you should just go do something else, because it's going to keep changing and you're going to stop making money. If you
Yeah,
don't.
no. Yeah, we had Tom Chlednik from the Knot on
Yeah.
on our podcast, and he said that if you're doing business the way you always have for the past couple years, you're going to be like non-existent in the next 3. Yeah,
Non-existent.
yeah.
Like,
So
no,
you
like, not
have
even
to.
dust. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you
Like
have to like
gone.
now, and you have
Yeah,
to enjoy it. If you don't
yeah,
enjoy it, because you have to enjoy it, and you just have to like, just keep listening and just like keep figuring out like new ways that people want to do things and like figuring out like where you can serve them, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny because in my market, we work with vendors that you could tell are tired and don't like it anymore, and you know what I'm saying? So and it's just like, I don't wanna refer them anymore because it's
No,
just on the day of, they're not fun, you know?
no.
And it's about, we wanna have fun as well as being, for the guests and the couples to have fun,
Yep.
Like, it's no
Yeah.
fun to go to work in an environment that it's,
It's not like
oh,
people are not psyched to be there, especially for this. It's funny for the not like they've invited me to, they've given me money to talk to them. What's that called? Consulting or whatever?
yeah, yeah.
They've given me, you can give me some more money than I'll talk to you. No, I'm joking. But
Yeah.
I've done those things before where like I've spoken to them and and been in the room. Like I think they have their headquarters in New York or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to their headquarters. You could really just tell. And some of this was like early on because when I was doing style ship weddings, like it was kind of very different from other things. I think they
Mhm.
found me. They've used my photography for like ads and stuff before. Like they've always liked my photography, my approach, and I've appreciated working with them. But I've definitely witnessed that like old, like someone who should be getting out of the industry, and it's like no one's going to help you if you don't actually like what you're doing.
No. Well, and you're not open, and like you were saying with the venues, or it's this the ceremony's always at 4 o'clock, and this always happens at this time, and you can only take a photo at this tree, and you can only, and so therefore everything that happens at your venue all looks the same,
All the
you know,
same, and it
and it's
feels
just
the
like,
same, and people know
yeah,
that deep down inside. But when people get to do their wedding day, like, like when they get to be like, "Look, I really love donuts. I
hmm
want like, we go to like a donut shop and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're amazing." Because it's New York and we just get to do stuff like that. Like people, like that's a wedding. That's are you okay? That's a
yeah,
wedding, like, that's a story that people want to tell. People don't wanna tell the story of, like, "And I took a photo at that tree, but I'm never allowed on this property again because there's another wedding here this weekend." Like, in New
yeah,
York, I always say, like, we can have your wedding day and this amazing itinerary, like, we can go to Katz's Delicatessen in the morning and, like, get a, pastrami, and you can come back here in 2 years and sit at that same table and have a
yeah,
freaking pastrami. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
You can do all this stuff, and I just think that's something cool too about elopement. So anyone who in the wedding industry who is listening, who like is not thinking elopements or like awesome and the next thing should definitely just like open up to it. Do open up to like what people are doing and just at least kind of be like, oh, okay, I see why people are gravitating towards that, you know?
Well, and because the generations coming up that are gonna be getting married soon are shyer, and they're
Yeah,
not,
there.
yeah, they're not as, social, they hide behind their phones, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, keep creating what we can for the next group of,
Yeah.
couples,
I know
so,
people like old timers like us. I mean, come
yeah,
on. You know what I mean? Like if we have something to offer them, like I don't think it's necessarily, I think if you stay excited and stay invested in the clients, you're not going to age out. Do you know what I
no,
mean? Like I've had those peers. I'm like, oh my God, what about when I'm old? People love it. Like I'm with them all the time. I'm like, oh, you're 25. Like, well, I
yeah,
remember the year you were born, and
yeah,
people
yeah,
love it. They're just
yeah.
happy. They know they're in good hands with someone who like really can like help guide them, you know?
Yeah. I have a son that's 22, and he
Yeah.
helps in our business,
Oh, sweet.
and so but it really drives some of the venues and places that where we've been working for, they're like, "I remember when you were born and now you're here." Like they're just like freaking freaking out a little
I
bit.
know, 'cause it happens so quick too. You're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, like yesterday you were like a kid now."
Yeah,
Oh my god.
exactly. And yeah,
Yeah.
it goes. All right. All right. So Jenny, how do people get in contact with you, find you?
Yes, absolutely. Well, definitely follow us on Instagram because we're very active on Instagram, TikTok too sometimes. Eloping is fun. That's it. Eloping is fun. Our website is Eloping is fun. Also, we have a great email list. I mean, I definitely recommend people sign up for our email list. It's fun. I think that email marketing is really important part of what we should all be doing. And how else? Oh, we have a podcast. Eloping is fun. Just look
I
it up.
love it.
Eloping is fun. It's more like an evergreen 6-part podcast. So just about, well, we'll probably do a second season now. I'm like getting invited on everyone's podcast, like talking all the time. I'm like, I like this. This is fun. So
It is
yeah,
fun.
that's how you can find us. And definitely like reach out and say hi. I'm always someone who's like happy to just kind of chat, bounce ideas, whatever.
All right, we'll have all of Jenny's information in the show notes, and you'll be able to just click and find her right away. But
Yes.
Jenny, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your expertise and your time today, and
Thank
all
you.
the knowledge that you shared with our
Yes.
listeners. So we appreciate you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
All right, bye everyone. We'll see you the next time on another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business, brought to you by Wedding IQ. If you've got a topic you'd love to hear us cover, or if there's an area of your business you're struggling with, let us know and we'd be happy to help. Don't forget to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and left a review. It helps more wedding pros find us and learn more from our guests too. Thanks again for listening to Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll catch you next time.